there's a secret that every woman knows but will never admit to you. A truth so devastating to the modern dating market that if men truly understood it, the entire system would collapse overnight. Women have weaponized their sexuality in ways that would make your head spin, and they're counting on you being too naive, too thirsty, or too brainwashed to notice. Let me pull back the curtain on what's really happening. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Here's the first thing women don't want you to know. The average woman today has a body count that would make a 1970s rock star blush. But she'll look you dead in the eye and say 5, maybe 6. Meanwhile, her actual number is closer to 30, 40, sometimes triple digits. And before you say I'm exaggerating, go look at the data. Anonymous surveys show women routinely divide their real number by 3 or 4 when asked directly. But it's not just about the lying. It's about what this means for civilization itself. Every successful society in human history understood something we've forgotten. Female sexuality needs boundaries or society collapses. The Romans knew it before their fall, the Greeks knew it, the Babylonians knew it. When women's sexuality becomes unrestrained, civilizations die. Not in generations, in decades. You know what's happening on OnlyFans right now? There are kindergarten teachers, nurses, therapists, supposedly respectable women, selling their assholes to strangers for $5 a month. Your future wife is probably on there right now, spreading her legs for tips while telling you she's not that kind of girl. And society celebrates this as empowerment. I had a client show me his girlfriend's secret Instagram. This sweet, innocent-looking girl who works at a non-profit, volunteers at animal shelters, seems like wife material. Her private account, thirst traps, ass shots, bikini pics with 5,000 followers, all men. She's essentially running a free OnlyFans while this poor bastard thinks he found one of the good ones. Here's what anthropologists won't tell you because it's too politically incorrect. Every civilization that gave women sexual freedom collapsed within 100 years. Every single one. Joseph Daniel Unwin studied 86 different societies. The pattern is identical. Sexual restraint builds civilizations. Sexual freedom destroys them. We're watching it happen in real time. Why? Because when sex becomes cheap and easy, men stop building. Think about it. Why did men create civilization? To get laid. That's it. We built cities, invented technology, created art, fought wars, all to impress women and get access to sex. But when sex is available on demand from any woman with a smartphone and low self-esteem, why build anything? The energy that built the pyramids, painted the Sistine Chapel, put men on the moon. That's sexual energy channeled into creation. But now, that energy goes into porn, hookup apps, and simping for Instagram models. We're literally jerking off our civilization into collapse, and women are cheering it on because they're making money from it. Women don't want you to know that female sexual liberation was never about freedom. It was about power. The power to extract resources from men without providing commitment. The power to ride the carousel until 35, then demand a provider. The power to destroy any man with a false accusation. The power to monetize their holes while calling it feminism. Look at marriage rates, plummeting. Birth rates, below replacement in every developed nation. Male suicide, through the roof. Female happiness, lowest ever recorded. But nobody connects the dots. Nobody wants to admit that when you let women fuck freely, society stops functioning. Because women's sexuality is chaos and chaos destroys order. Here's another secret. Women know their sexual marketplace value expires. They know that by 30 they're competing with 22-year-olds. By 35 they're invisible. By 40 they're done. So what do? They extract maximum value while they can. Instagram attention, OnlyFans money, carousel riding, resource extraction. It's a fire sale on pussy, and they know the clock is ticking. But they'll never admit this to you. They'll talk about finding themselves and exploring their sexuality. What they're really doing is getting their backs blown out by Chad and Tyrone while keeping beta males on the hook for later. They're dual mating strategy in action. Alpha fucks beta bucks, and you're probably the beta. The average woman today has had more sexual partners by 25 than her grandmother had in her entire life. She's been choked, slapped, anally penetrated, probably had a threesome, definitely sent nudes to multiple men, and then she'll put on a white dress and expect you to wife her up like she's some virgin princess. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. You know what else women don't want you to know? They're all bisexual now, not because they're actually attracted to women, but because it gets male attention. They'll make out with their friend at the club, post thirst traps with other girls, hint at threesomes, all to increase their sexual marketplace value. It's performative lesbianism for male consumption, and social media turned every woman into a part-time prostitute. What's the difference between an escort and an Instagram model who flies to Dubai to get shit on by sheikhs? The escort's more honest. At least she doesn't pretend it's about networking or brand partnerships. Every woman with more than 10,000 followers is for sale. The only question is the price. The destruction this causes to pair bonding is catastrophic. Women who've had more than 5 sexual partners have an 80% divorce rate. More than 10, it's basically guaranteed. They've trained their brains to seek novelty, to never be satisfied, to always look for the next dopamine hit. They're literally incapable of long-term commitment. But here's the darkest secret. Women know this damages them. They know every new dick makes them less capable of love. They know they're destroying their ability to pair bond. They feel it in their emptiness, their anxiety, their depression. But they can't stop, because the validation is addictive, the attention is a drug, and they'll sacrifice their entire future for another hit. This is why traditional societies controlled female sexuality. Not because they hated women, but because they understood female nature. Unrestrained, women will fuck the top 20% of men, leaving 80% of men with nothing. This creates armies of angry, purposeless men. You know what happens when you have masses of young men with no sexual access? Revolution, war, collapse. Look at any matriarchal society in history. Oh wait, you can't. Because they don't exist. Every society run by feminine values collapsed immediately, because feminine values are about feelings, not facts, about comfort, not achievement, about safety, not risk. These values can't build or maintain civilization. They can only consume what masculine values created. The feminization of society is everywhere. Universities teaching feelings over facts. Corporations prioritizing diversity over competence. Governments choosing equity over excellence. Media promoting emotion over logic. This is what happens when female sexuality is unleashed. Everything becomes feminized, because feminine chaos overwhelms masculine order. They literally think most men are worthless, but they'll never admit this. They'll tell women don't want you to know that they're actually more shallow than men. Men will fuck anything but will commit to quality. Women will only fuck the top tier. Dating app data proves this. Women rate 80% of men as below average. Think about that mathematical impossibility about personality and emotional connection, while swiping left on everyone under 6 feet. The cock carousel isn't a myth, it's a business model. Women from 18 to 28 fuck the hottest guys they can access. Musicians, athletes, drug dealers, anyone with status and edge. Then, around 30, panic sets in. Suddenly they want a real man who has his shit together. Translation. They want your resources after giving their best years to men who wouldn't commit. The cock carousel isn't a myth, it's a business model. Women from 18 to 28 fuck the hottest guys they can access. Musicians, athletes, drug dealers, anyone with status and edge. Then, around 30, panic sets in. Suddenly they want a real man who has his shit together. Translation. They want your resources after giving their best years to men who wouldn't commit. Here's what really pisses me off. Women know that fatherless children are more likely to be criminals, addicts, suicides. They know single motherhood destroys kids, but they still choose to have kids with men who won't stick around. Why? Because those men give them tingles. They'll sacrifice their children's future for alpha dick. That's female nature unrestrained. Here's what really pisses me off. Women know that fatherless children are more likely to be criminals, addicts, suicides. They know single motherhood destroys kids, but they still choose to have kids with men who won't stick around. Why? Because those men give them tingles. They'll sacrifice their children's future for alpha dick. That's female nature unrestrained. The welfare state enables all of this. Women don't need husbands anymore. Government is their husband. Have kids with whoever, daddy government will pay. Make bad choices, no consequences. This removes all natural checks on female sexuality. In the past, fucking the wrong man meant starvation. Now it means a government check. You want to know why creativity is dead? Why we haven't had a Mozart, a Shakespeare, a Michelangelo in generations? Because all that creative energy is being wasted on porn and casual sex. The sexual energy that built cathedrals is now building OnlyFans accounts. We're trading civilization for orgasms. Women don't want you to know they're incapable of unconditional love. Their love is entirely conditional on your resources, status, height, dick size, ability to give them tingles. The moment you show weakness, lose your job, get sick, they're gone. But they'll swear they love you for who you are. No, they love you for what you provide. The alpha widow phenomenon is real. Once a woman's been with a true alpha, the musician, the athlete, the bad boy who rocked her world, she's ruined. Every man after is a disappointment. She'll settle for you, but she'll always compare you to him. You'll never measure up, she'll be thinking of him while you're inside her. And here's the ultimate black pill. Even if you're successful, even if you're attractive, even if you do everything right, she's probably already ruined. By the time the average woman is 25, she's been ran through by dozens of men. Her ability to bond is destroyed, her expectations are unrealistic, her baggage is enormous. You're not getting a partner, you're getting damaged goods. The solution? There isn't one that society will accept. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't unliberate female sexuality. The only realistic responses are, accept the decline and enjoy the collapse. Try to find the rare, uncorrupted woman, good luck, or check out entirely. Some men are trying to rebuild restraint in small communities, religious groups, traditional communities, trying to raise daughters differently. But the culture is too powerful. Social media, schools, media, they all promote female sexual liberation. Your daughter will be taught that being a whore is empowering before she can read. The nostalgia economy is proof we're done creating. Everything is remakes, reboots, sequels. We're culturally necrophiliac, fucking the corpse of better times. No new ideas, no innovation, no vision for the future, because creation requires sexual restraint, and we have none. We're a masturbation civilization, and masturbators don't build empires. Women know all of this, but they'll never admit it. They know they're destroying civilization with their hypergamy. They know they're creating generations of broken children. They know they're making men check out. But admitting it would mean taking responsibility, and women are allergic to that. It's always someone else's fault. The dating market now is basically prostitution with extra steps. Women trade sexual access for resources, attention, and validation. Men trade resources, attention, and validation for sexual access. Nobody's actually connecting. Nobody's actually building anything, it's just mutual exploitation pretending to be romance. And the quality of women keeps declining. They can't cook, won't clean, don't want children, have no feminine skills. But they demand traditional men while offering nothing traditional in return. They want a 1950s husband while being a 2024 whore. The math doesn't work, but they're too entitled to see it. The testosterone crisis isn't accidental. When women's sexuality is unrestrained, average men lose. They can't compete with the top 20%, so they drop out, become passive, stop producing testosterone. It's biological surrender. Why maintain high T when you have no sexual access? The body knows when you've lost the game. Women don't want you to know that they actually prefer toxic men. All this talk about wanting nice guys? Bullshit. They want dark triad traits, narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. These men make them wet. The nice guy who respects them, he dries them up like the Sahara, but admitting this would destroy their victim narrative. The single mother epidemic is civilization cancer. These women chose wrong, got pumped and dumped, and now expect good men to raise another man's kids. They're creating armies of damaged children while demanding respect for being strong, independent women. No, you're not strong. You're a cautionary tale. Female sexuality is zero-sum. In a monogamous system, most men get a woman. In our current system, top men get all the women, average men get nothing. This is why porn and OnlyFans exploded. Millions of sexless men desperate for any female attention, even digital. Women monetized male loneliness they created. The wall is undefeated, but women think they can beat it. They think they can whore until 35, then find a husband. Some do, but he's always settling. He knows she gave her best years to other men. The resentment builds, the marriage fails, the cycle continues, but women never learn. Each generation thinks they're different. You know what's really dark? Women are actively selecting for the wrong traits. They're breeding with criminals, deadbeats, and narcissists. The good men who would be good fathers, they're not getting to reproduce. We're literally breeding ourselves into idiocracy, and women's sexual choices are driving it. The commodification of intimacy means nothing is sacred anymore. Every woman is 3 DMs away from cheating. Every relationship is one Instagram message from ending. Loyalty is dead. Commitment is a joke. Everything is temporary, transactional, disposable. This is what female sexual liberation created. Women don't want you to know that feminism was a shit test that society failed. They pushed boundaries to see if men would maintain frame. Men failed, gave them everything they wanted, and now women are miserable. They wanted leaders who would tell them no. Instead, they got simps who gave them everything and now they despise us for it. The future is either collapse or correction. Either we continue down this path and civilization crumbles, or something forces a return to restraint. Economic collapse, war, religious revival, something that makes female sexuality valuable again. Because right now, pussy is worthless. It's everywhere, it's free, it's meaningless. But here's the ultimate truth women don't want you to know. They need us more than we need them. Men built civilization, maintain it, protect it. Women just live in it. Without men, they'd be living in grass huts within a generation. But they've convinced themselves they're independent while being entirely dependent on male creation and protection. The sexual revolution was supposed to liberate everyone. Instead, it enslaved us all. Women are slaves to validation, men are slaves to porn, children are slaves to broken homes, society is slave to decline. Everyone lost except the top 10% of men who get unlimited sexual access. They won. Everyone else got fucked, literally and figuratively. Traditional societies understood something we forgot. Female sexuality is chaos. Male sexuality is order. Chaos unrestrained destroys order. Order must contain chaos or everything collapses. This isn't oppression, it's physics. It's the fundamental dynamic of existence. And we ignored it because it hurt women's feelings. The cope is everywhere. Women mature faster. No, they peak faster then decline. Women are more educated. Yeah, in useless degrees that contribute nothing. Women are more emotionally intelligent. No, they're more emotional. Intelligence requires controlling emotions, not being controlled by them. Every single metric of civilizational health is declining as female sexual freedom increases. Marriage down, births down, happiness down, suicide up, addiction up, crime up. But nobody will connect the dots because that would require admitting women's liberation was a mistake. And that's the one thing our feminized society can never admit. Here's something else they don't want you to know. The birth control pill fundamentally broke female mate selection. For millions of years, women's hormones guided them toward good genetic matches. The pill disrupts this. Women on the pill are attracted to different men than when they're off it. They choose wrong, get married, go off the pill to have kids, and suddenly aren't attracted to their husband. Divorce follows. We chemically castrated female intuition and wonder why relationships fail. The strong independent woman narrative is the biggest cope in history. These women are on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, wine, and therapy just to function. They're miserable, lonely, and desperate. But they'll post inspirational quotes about not needing a man while crying themselves to sleep. The cognitive dissonance is destroying their mental health. You want to know the real reason women hate Andrew Tate and the manosphere? Because we're exposing the game. We're teaching men their true value, showing them the manipulation tactics, revealing female nature. Every man who gets red-pilled is one less sucker to exploit, one less beta to extract resources from, one less safety net for when they hit the wall. We're destroying their backup plans. The education system is designed to favour female learning styles and punish male excellence. Sitting still, regurgitating information, following rules without question, this is feminine education. Innovation, risk-taking, competitive excellence, masculine traits are punished. Then we wonder why men are failing in school while producing nothing of value despite all their degrees. Women have weaponized therapy language to avoid accountability. Everything is trauma, boundaries, toxic, narcissistic. They use psychological terms they don't understand to pathologize anyone who calls out their behavior. Disagree with a woman, you're gaslighting, hold her accountable, you're toxic. It's verbal warfare disguised as healing. So what do you do with this knowledge? First, understand the game is rigged. The average man cannot win in this sexual marketplace. Second, stop pedestalizing women. They're not wonderful, they're not special, they're human animals driven by primitive instincts. Third, focus on yourself. Build wealth, strength, and knowledge. Become undeniable or remove yourself from the game entirely. The men who understand this are checking out. Going their own way, focusing on purpose over pussy, building wealth over women. They've realised the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Modern women offer nothing but headaches and liability. Why play a rigged game when you can create your own? But women are starting to panic. "Where are all the good men?" articles are everywhere. They rode the carousel, hit the wall, and now want bailout. But men are waking up. We're realising we don't have to save them. We don't have to wife up whores. We can let them suffer the consequences of their choices. The next generation of men will either be extremely red-pilled or completely castrated. No middle ground. Either they'll see through the bullshit and reject it entirely, or they'll be so feminized they're basically women with penises. The bifurcation's already happening. Look at Gen Z. Half are Andrew Tate followers, half are non-binary, they, thems. This is what women don't want you to know. They created this mess. They demanded liberation, got it, and destroyed everything. Now they want men to fix it while taking no responsibility. They want us to marry them after they've been destroyed by their choices. They want us to man up after spending decades telling us masculinity is toxic. The ultimate red pill is realizing female nature itself is the problem. Not feminism, not culture, not media, female nature. Unleashed, it destroys everything. This is why every successful society restricted it. Not from hate, but from wisdom. They understood what we're now learning the hard way. Give women freedom and they'll use it to destroy themselves and everyone around them. But talking about this is forbidden. Even suggesting that maybe female sexuality should have boundaries makes you Hitler. So we continue the decline, pretending everything's fine while civilization burns. Women fiddle while Rome burns, taking selfies in the flames, monetizing the collapse. The survivors of this collapse will be the religious communities that maintain tradition, the men who rejected modernity, and the societies that never embraced female liberation. They'll inherit what's left while we argue about pronouns in the rubble. Natural selection doesn't care about your feelings. This is the truth women don't want you to know. Female sexuality unrestrained is civilizational suicide. Every society that forgot this lesson ceased to exist. We're forgetting it now, and we're ceasing to exist. The question isn't if we'll collapse, but when, and what will rise from the ashes. So I ask you, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep simping for women who despise you? Keep playing a game rigged against you? Or will you walk away, build something for yourself, and watch it all burn from a distance? The choice is yours, but now you know what women didn't want you to know. Drop a comment with your thoughts. Have you seen this pattern in your own life? Are you watching civilization decay in real time? What's your strategy for navigating this collapse? Let's discuss it, because the one thing they fear more than anything is men comparing notes and realizing what's really happening,